Welcome back, Tigers! In this video, we'll review how to automatically set manager judgments to end for all new opportunities. This video is for companies who are using the Salesforce role hierarchy and you have a single manager per role. If your company identifies managers through the manager field on the user record, please check out the link in the description below for our other tutorial. Now let's go check out how to simplify manager judgments for our sales leaders. All right, here we are in Salesforce and we're going to go into Setup. We'll go to Flow and then we're going to create a new flow. This is going to be a record triggered flow. And this is going to fire from the opportunity object only when this record is created. We don't want it to fire at any other point in time. We're going to use decision elements. If you prefer to use entry criteria, that is up to you. We have a really great video where we show you reasons why you would choose to go either way. Since there's typically not many automations that fire whenever an opportunity is created, we like to do decision elements and have one flow that's controlling all of the actions on the opportunity record whenever it is created. So our first step here is to add a decision element. And we're going to check to see if the opportunity owner is a forecasting user. The reason why we need to do this is because this automation will completely fail if they are not. And there's no point in doing it if they're not a forecasting user. So we're going to check to see if the triggering opportunity has an owner where allow forecasting is true. And then our default outcome is no. Then on our yes path, we're going to do a get records. And we are going to look for the opportunity owner's parent role. So we're looking for the role of the opportunity owner and looking for the role that's above them in the role hierarchy, since this automation is going to fire based on the person who is one role higher than the op owner. So we're going to do a get records on the role object, and this is going to allow us to actually query who's above the opportunity owner in the role hierarchy. I didn't even know you could do this until I started researching this stuff. This is pretty cool. So we're going to look for the role where the ID equals the triggering opportunity, and we're going to look for the owner and the role ID of the owner. Then we're going to do another get records. So we're going to get user with parent role. This is going to look at the user object, and it's going to look for the user to have a user role ID equal to the parent of the role that we just did a query on. So this one right here, get op owner's parent role, we want to pull the parent role ID of that record. Pretty cool, huh? And then we also want to make sure that the user is active. So we're going to look for is active is true, because if they're not, this will fail as well. Okay, then we're going to do a decision element, and we're going to check to make sure that a user exists here. So we're going to look for the op owner's parent role user to exist. So we'll look at the get user with parent role. We'll backspace over the period, and then we'll look for is null is false. And then this is a no. Now we're going to create a record. But before we do that, we're going to save here. We're going to give it a nice title, a nice description. And then I'm going to change the API version of this because this has already burned me in another video. There's something wrong with creating our forecasting source record judgment record in API version 63. That's as of March 29th, 2025. So if you're doing this at a later point in time, maybe it'll work. But we were getting this weird error that was saying that we had to set a field and the field was already set. I just changed the API version and recreated everything and it worked. So let's see if that works for us here. We're going to do a create records, and we're going to create a forecasting source record judgment record. Mouthful, isn't it? Forecasting source record judgment record. All right, our judgment value is going to be in. Now, if you set a custom value in your forecast settings when you were setting up manager judgments, you'll need to make sure you use that value there. Now we're going to set the reference object ID. This is going to be the opportunity that triggered the flow. And then we need to set the user ID, and this is the manager of the opportunity owner based on the role hierarchy, not based on the manager field in the user record. And we're going to get this value from the get user right here. And we just want the ID of that record, which is all the way here at the bottom, and make sure you have the field with API name ID. So it should look just like that when you save it. All right, so let's save this and see if we get the error. Nope, definitely something wrong in API version 63 there. We'll open a ticket with Salesforce. We're gonna add a default path here, and we're going to add a custom error. In case something goes wrong, we'll give it a nice message that's friendly to our users instead of the ugly red unhandled fault error. All right, and that's all we need to do to automate the in for our manager judgment. So let's click save here, click activate, and now we're ready to test this out. All right, we're gonna come over to our role hierarchy. So here's our role hierarchy and how it's structured. So we have a sales manager team 2 and we have a sales team 2. Now we have Mina Mahler, who we're going to test as, and her manager is Nate, and Nate has this role of sales manager team 2. Mina has a role of sales team 2. We're gonna log in as Mina, and we're gonna create an opportunity. Okay, so we're gonna say test manager judgment. We'll make the close date today so we can find it easy. And then we're gonna give it an amount of $1 so we can find it easy as well. Now we'll click save. Okay, perfect. Now what we wanna do is go to Nate's forecast. So I'll come to the forecast tab, and then I'll go to Nate's forecast. And then I'm going to sort everything by the amount. And then I can see this is the opportunity that I just created, logged in as Mina, and I can see the amount is $1 and the manager judgment is in. So that's how you automate your manager judgments when you are using the role hierarchy. And one thing you have to make sure is that you only have one person per role if they're a manager in the role hierarchy in order for this to work. That's it. That's a wrap. Be sure to subscribe to Blue Tiger Academy so you don't miss our upcoming video on enabling managers to adjust forecast categories for their team members. Now, Salesforce normally restricts forecast category modifications to opportunity owners. We'll demonstrate an effective workaround for this limitation. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if you'd like to see a video on a different Salesforce topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.